It's Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Kirk Cameron Show. In this episode, we're going to talk about Trump and Putin's meeting in Alaska and the importance of keeping your friends close but your enemies closer. We're going to talk about a billionaire pop star who probably has more influence on your children or grandchildren than your Sunday school teacher, and a Christian icon who has died. Please subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode of truth that you will not hear on the news. James, roll the video.
I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon.
So a year ago, people predicted that Trump could end the war in Ukraine by the 4th of July, 2025. Well, that's here and gone. That didn't happen. But here is what's undeniable and remarkable to me. I think Trump is working harder than any modern president to bring about peace in the world. And I'm thinking of others like Theodore Roosevelt, who ended a major war solely through moral influence on world leaders and the bold use of America's power. And I think Trump is on the same path. Now, there are those who I think actually promote chaos and war. These are radicals in Washington who I think are arrogant. I think they're historically uneducated and immoral, and they want to mock Trump's meeting with Putin in Alaska. But I think that is exactly what we need to be doing, and history agrees with us. First, bringing about peace in Eastern Europe is very difficult. In the Middle East, very difficult, but it's worth every effort. I mean, think about it. If the war ended in Ukraine, it could free millions of Ukrainians to begin rebuilding their country. It could allow Russians to grieve and mourn the 400,000 soldiers that have died. And not to mention, it would ease the crushing economic burden of U.S. taxpayers paying for the war, Europeans paying for the war, and also China and North Korea and Iran. Second, think of Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev. I remember those meetings, and people were just as concerned and freaked out. How can he be sitting down and shaking hands with the leader of Russia during the Cold War? Reagan didn't cave to the Soviets, but he met with them. He built a relationship, meeting by meeting, year by year, until the Cold War ended. Trump and Putin are totally different men in a different time, but it's the same strategy. Meet with your enemies. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies even closer. That's a good idea. Third, think about Theodore Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt ended a major war in 1905. It was the Russian-Japanese War, and he did it not by bombing, not with threats, but with cordial relationship, economic influence, and America's moral authority. Look it up on Wikipedia. You'll read all about it. He brought the leaders to the state of Maine, where they signed a treaty and changed everything. Does that sound familiar? That's what Trump is doing, only this time it's in Alaska. It's the exact same thing in my mind. In Trump's second term, just 230 days, what he's done already eclipses anything that Biden or Obama did in their entire presidencies to bring about this kind of peace. How is Trump able to do it? I think it's because Trump's word actually means something. They respect him. When he says it, they need to listen. The world moves when America leads with conviction. Now, the critics are going to say, he's cozying up to dictators. You see, this is exactly what we've been talking about. No, I disagree. I think he's keeping his enemies close. They said the exact same thing when he met with Kim Jong-un from North Korea. Dangerous, dangerous. This is going to result in World War III. But then what happened? Tensions calmed. The world was safer. I think that's what strong leadership does. Even Putin himself admitted that the war in Ukraine never would have started if Trump had been president. Imagine all the lives that would have been spared if strength and conviction had led from the start. So what does the scripture say? Well, Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." So our call is to make peace, to be peacemakers. And we should be praying for leaders who want to make peace, not chaos. And I think Trump is trying to be a peacemaker. Is he perfect? No. But if he's trying to make peace, I think that he should be applauded. History may be being written before our eyes. I don't have a crystal ball, but maybe, just maybe, we're on the verge of another Theodore Roosevelt moment, maybe another Reagan moment. And if in the end Trump is remembered as someone who ended a needless world war through strength, through diplomacy, through conviction, I think that's something we should be thankful for. We're in a time when our values are under fire, but we don't have to compromise, and this can make us stronger. By banking at America's Christian Credit Union, your deposits actually fuel kingdom work, supporting families through adoption loans, empowering moms in crisis pregnancies, strengthening churches, and making Christian education more accessible. So it's not just banking, it's a movement of faith. Right now, when you open a new checking account and you use my promo code Kirk, you'll get a $200 bonus for opening your new account, and ACCU will donate a box of diapers to a Christian pregnancy resource center. Finally, there's an easy way to align your finances with your faith. Visit americaschristiancu.com/Kirk to learn more and join the movement today. Parents, what do you get when a billionaire pop star releases an album with provocative artwork, lyrics that mock God, glorify rebellion, and celebrate explicit sin? You get the most powerful sermon that America's youth will hear this year, and it's straight from the pit of hell. So this billionaire pop star in heels is crowned the voice of a generation. And millions of young girls model their lives after her. You see her face on magazine covers at the grocery store, T-shirts at the airport. When a concert's in town, she just seems to be ubiquitous. And millions of young men's brains are being shaped by her vision of womanhood. Let me explain. Her songs drip with defiance. She mocks God in her lyrics. She normalizes sin. She glorifies lust and rebellion as if this was womanly empowerment. Am I being too harsh? I don't think so. Proverbs 5 is something that every young man and every woman ought to read. Listen to this. The lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave, for she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. And then listen to how this affects men. For the Lord sees clearly what a man does, examining every path he takes. An evil man is held captive by his own sins. There are ropes that catch and hold him. He will die for lack of self-control with a woman like that. He will be lost because of his great foolishness. Her songs are not just music. This is discipleship. She doesn't have any kids of her own, but raising kids is hard. Why get into all that when she can just disciple your kids and train them up in the way that she would like for them to go so that they turn out just like her? And what is it that she's actually discipling them in? What's she teaching them? Well, she teaches young women that their worth is in their ability to seduce. If you listen to her songs and you look at her artwork, she teaches young men that women are objects to be consumed and discarded, not treasures to be cherished, to lay your life down for. And our daughters and our granddaughters are imitating her. Our sons are going after her and pursuing Swifties just like her, and the fruit is devastation. Physically, morally, spiritually, psychologically, impacting marriage, family, for a generation. But the truth is she's not new. The Bible already gave us her profile. She is the seductress of Proverbs 5. She's just like the daughter of Babylon, flaunting herself, flaunting her vanity for her own gain. Also, just like the rich young ruler in the book of Matthew. She has everything that the world has to offer. She's got wealth, she's got fame, she's got power and influence, but she can't let go of it. She holds on to her fortune. Her treasure is not Christ, but her empire. I mean, she calls herself a Christian, but she refuses to treasure him alone, and she risks her soul. Should we even be taking this much time to talk about her? I mean, she's just one pop star. She's just the latest idol that our culture has crowned. If Proverbs 31 is the example of the woman that God exalts, and it is, Proverbs 5 shows us the woman that culture celebrates and lifts up. So it is important we talk about this because as parents, we've got to decide which one of these two women, Proverbs 5, Proverbs 31, will we let disciple our daughters? And for young men, which woman will you pursue? The Proverbs 31 woman or the Proverbs 5 woman? Jesus said it like this. He said, what does it profit a man or a woman to gain the whole world and lose his soul or her soul? So I think it's important because our culture is cheering for a woman who is gaining the whole world. But if we look at her through the Savior's eyes, she's in trouble. If she doesn't humble herself, turn from her sin, and bow her knee to the one God sent to save her, she, and maybe millions of girls who follow her, could lose everything. So as parents, as grandparents, what do? I say, don't stay silent. Disciple our own children with truth. Lead by example. Be men and women of virtue, not vanity. And let's raise up sons who honor and protect women, not consume and destroy them. And pray for this billionaire pop star that one day she might come to her senses, trade the applause and the power for the mercy and the grace of God. Now I want to pivot from a huge influence of depravity upon men and women and families to someone who was the exact opposite, a massive influence for good. James Dobson died yesterday. I remember when my son held up his phone and showed me the breaking news, and the feelings are profound. I've met with James Dobson several times as he was looking with his selection committee for his successor, because his health had indicated that perhaps his time was not long. And I was blown away that I had a chance to meet with him, that he even knew who I was, because he's somebody that I grew up with as a young believer, and he has shaped family and marriage for millions and millions of people. He built the organization called Focus on the Family with over 1,000 employees, his radio program, his books. He's helped parents raise generations of children and walk through the struggles of marriage and parenting. He is a hero of the faith. And he just entered into the moment that he has been looking forward to for 70 or 80 years. I felt the same way with John MacArthur. So many sermons, so many books, all speaking to that moment when they see Jesus face to face. He's no longer walking by faith. He's walking by sight, which is the opposite of what we're doing now. We're walking by faith, not by sight. We can't see the Lord until we see him face to face. Listen to this out of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, that famous chapter on love. And Paul says, when I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly as in a cloudy mirror. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. And that's James Dobson. Right now, Dr. Dobson's passing also reminded me of Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty and his recent passing. Phil Robertson, John MacArthur, Dr. James Dobson. These are three pillars of faith in my generation that have represented so much good. And Dobson also reminds me of Billy Graham in regards to his influence on so many presidents for good. Billy Graham advised presidents during his lifetime, massively influential. And so is James Dobson. For 5 presidents, he was a key advisor on issues of the family and faith. My own children worked at Focus on the Family and were impacted and blessed by the organization that Dr. Dobson founded. Dr. Dobson, if somehow you have a portal to see this program right now in heaven, thank you for all that you've done. I am so grateful for Focus on the Family and Dr. James Dobson and the influence that he's had on our entire country. We will miss you. Is your health insurance working against you? If you're tired of draining your wallet every month on health insurance premiums, there is a better alternative. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an affordable, non-insurance option for believers' healthcare. That means that you get to choose the doctors and the hospitals that you want to work with without network restrictions. It's great for families, for singles, for retirees, and for business owners. CHM is the original cost-sharing ministry with over $12 billion in medical bills shared. But see for yourself. Check out the difference and go to chministries.org/Kirk. James, my son, I know you've collected some amazing videos for us to watch today. What do you got?
All right, the first video that we have is a video from Elise Hildebrand talking about marriage.
It is the most perfect form of community. That the communion between husband and wife is the greatest source of earthly happiness. But if this love is not redeemed by the supernatural, it has a tragic character. And as I mentioned in the earlier episode, but let me repeat it, man is finite. Man is imperfect. Man is bound by time and space. And the very moment that you fall in love, and I speak of a deep, authentic love, which is a response to value, to the lovableness and beauty of another human person, suddenly you discover
I love this woman.
that you would like this love to have a dimension of infinity and eternity.
Yes.
And you can't reach it. On top of it, you will always experience day in and day out how difficult it is to live up completely and totally to the demands that love makes upon me.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. I mean, she's expressing the desire of the person who wants to live authentically in love. And she is also acknowledging that we can't get there without God and that we want that kind of love to be forever. We just read this in 1 Corinthians 13. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. That's what I want with my wife. And so that's why we've got to do things God's way. Marriages don't fail. People fail. People fail to do what she just said. And the only way that we can do that is when we're doing it with God.
Do you think that Jesus Christ would want ICE to raid churches and hospitals and schools? Do you think that he would support children being separated from their families? Do you think that he would turn asylum seekers away at the border? Because if you think that any of this is somehow godly, I urge you to listen to the countless verses that tell us to accept the foreigner, to not mistreat the oppressed, and to love thy neighbor, because that is our greatest commandment.
Yeah. And I think where she's getting this wrong, I mean, it sounds so good on the surface, right? Don't turn away asylum seekers and don't split up families. The problem is that she's pulling all of these ideas out of context. The scriptures talk very clearly about nations having boundaries and borders, and about obeying the law and submitting yourself to the authorities that God has put in place. So my view, good Christians want law and order because that is what gives us structure and protection to protect our families. Just because America is a melting pot doesn't mean that we shouldn't have laws. There's a legal way to come to this country. And in fact, people who do come here from other countries legally really don't like when people come here illegally. It's not about not being compassionate to the foreigner. It's about having a nation of laws that actually protects foreigners who come here and assimilate into the American way of life by keeping them safe from those who come here illegally and do bad things. All right, James, what else we got?
All right, the next video that we have is Pastor James McDonald dressing up as a homeless man outside of his church to see how the congregants will react. Take a look.
This pastor disguised himself as a homeless person to see how the people coming to his church would react. But this is what happened.
Wow.
He went inside and revealed himself.
So how did our church do in the video? I'm going to tell you now. I was crying inside that beard. I cannot believe the people in this church.
So you bringing us something to eat this morning? Coffee, keep you warm. Let's just pray for you real quick.
Well, God, I just pray that you would just meet this man, and Father, that if it would be your will, that you would just have him come into our church, but that you would just know the love of Christ. I don't want you to be out here without knowing him, okay?
You're welcome to come inside. We'd love to have you.
You can come in if you want. Okay.
How you doing tonight? Doing okay? Would you like to come in and have church with us? Sit with us for church? I got some water and something more valuable. It's the Word of God here. And God bless you.
That is awesome. I know James McDonald. We've been friends with James and Kathy for a long time. I wonder when that happened, because he's not pastoring that church anymore. But what an awesome thing. You know, this is a really good illustration that answers the question. Conservative Christians often say that they don't want universal health care. They don't want these massive welfare programs to take care of the homeless. Well, that only works when we as the family of faith stand in the gap and we have compassion at the local level, just like this. The only way we can reduce the government from doing all these things with inefficient programs and taxing us to death is when we, as the hands and feet of Christ, reach out to the homeless and those who are needy. And then it works. Thank you guys for watching this episode. And if you're only watching Fridays, tune in with us on Mondays for morning devotions and Wednesdays for dangerous conversations with my son, James. And thanks again for subscribing. We just passed 100,000 subscribers, which puts us on a new trajectory to get these messages out to even more people. James?
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified when the next episode comes out, and leave us a comment in the comment section below so we can read that on a future Monday episode. Have a good day.